What are things like for the food bank, for Daily Bread, this year compared to past years?
Well, there were 1 million more visits in this 12-month period, and so that is a struggle, 1 million more. It took us 38 years to get to 1 million client visits in a single year, 2 years to get to 2 million, 1 year to get to 3 million, and we added another million. We'll be at just under 4 million visits this past year. So it's tiring, but at the same time, it's pretty heartening to see all the volunteers who come together and make it happen.
Who has come to the point in their life where this is the last option?
Well, the people who have always been with the food bank are individuals on income securities that are far too low, so people on disability. Who's coming now are individuals who are working. They're working full-time. 60% have a university education or a college diploma, and so they've done everything right. They got an education, they got a job, they're working hard, and they still have to rely on food charity, and that to me is infuriating.
Now, we're here in the warehouse. Some of your food, I know, does get donated, but a lot you have to buy. Tell us about how much money you're having to spend now.
We've had to go from $1.5 million a year as our spend to $29 million this year. Right now, our forecast is 400,000 client visits per month beginning in 2025. Before the pandemic, that number was around 60,000 client visits. That was bad on its own, but getting to 400,000 is a sign of a system that is clearly failing too many people.
You've been able to meet this exponentially increased demand, but what are you left? Do you fear that the day will come when you can't?
Yeah, so our projection right now is that in 18 months, the reserves that we have will be depleted to the point that we'll have to reduce the amount of food going out to Toronto. And we are doing everything we can right now to mitigate that. And the first thing that we're doing is trying to build up, how much food and funds are coming in. But the second and much more important thing that we're doing is advocating much more loudly. We are saying we've got to bring in the Canada Disability Benefit so that people on disability don't need food charity. We are advocating hard for rental supplements so that people can afford their rent. These are the types of longer-term solutions that will enable individuals to thrive in community.
We got 11 skids of food. It includes frozen meat, some dry cans of food, fruits, milks, anything that we can feed people.
And do you feel the importance of your work?
Once in a time, I was doing delivery at Parkdale Food Bank. As soon as I pop up there, everyone was so happy after seeing me. The big smile on the face of the people that made me such emotional, and I really felt very emotional after seeing those people waving at me. They was waiting for the food.
I could see in your face how much it's impacted you. It's really stayed in your mind, in your heart.
Exactly right. Yeah. From that day only, I realized how important my role as a driver to do that stuff, and it's all about helping the community. I'm very happy that I'm doing that stuff, and I'm such blessed that Daily Bread gave me that opportunity to help the community in that way.
It's all about the truck. How our day goes is all about what time Daily Bread comes.
Thank you for having us here. We've seen the truck being unloaded. Your volunteers swarmed it like bees, emptied it out. We're now down in the church basement. Yes. What happens from here?
So what happens from here? So this is Thursday, which is our delivery day and our prep day. Our food bank runs weekly on Friday. So we're getting everything ready. Our clients, when they come on Fridays, get 3 bags of food. They get the dry goods shelf-stable item, which got packed this morning that you see on the floor.
We see it here
and
in
it's all
big
packed
containers.
by household size.
Do you know how many people are going to come tomorrow already?
It's always a bit of a guess. Last week we had 326 households.
We're always challenged by who we think food bank users are. There are assumptions that are made. But we know many food bank clients work more than one job, have families, have young kids, may live alone, may have large families. Have you had your own assumptions challenged?
I don't know what I thought about who was using food banks. I think for me, what's been most telling is that there's a lot of people that use food banks just briefly, where they've struggled for a month or two, where they just can't make ends meet, and then they're okay again. Or they come for a few months, And then I think I always thought when someone starts using the food bank, they use it forever. But I've learned that that's not the case, that it is sort of episodic, where it depends what's happening in their lives. And we've heard a lot of stories. I never needed a food bank, but I had a really big heating bill this month and I just couldn't do it. They're really living paycheck to paycheck. One gentleman said to me, I was working 40 hours and now they've cut my hours, I can't, and he has 3 kids, he goes, I just can't do it. Oh, here, I'll talk to you.
Who comes here?
I noticed when the truck pulled up and the great unloading began, and someone came up to you and said something like, do people really need this?
Yeah, yeah, and that gets asked a lot. How do you know somebody really needs this? And the reality is, and I say this to everybody, if somebody says they need our help, we help them. I also tell people, you can't just judge them by how you see them. Last winter, I gave this woman a very expensive Arctic, whatever those fancy coats are, like $1,000 coat. Someone had donated it to us. And I put it on her. She didn't have an appropriate winter coat. And I said, here, take this. I said, this is a really expensive coat. I said, someone's going to look at you and go, oh, why do they need to be at a food bank? So you don't know what someone pulled out of a donation bin. We also had people, particularly I found when the Ukrainian refugees were coming, these were folks that were middle class up. They were not poor people, but suddenly they were landing here with their nice clothes and everything, but they had really nothing and not a lot of support. And so again, you can't judge by looking at people.